The Sun is in the midst of its quietest period in more than a century. Several days ago, it was in cue ball mode, with an incredible image from NASA showing no large visible sunspots seen on its surface. Astronomers say this isn't unusual, and solar activity waxes and wanes in 11-year cycles, and we're currently in cycle 24, which began in 2008. However, if the current trend continues, then the Earth could be headed for a mini ice age, researchers have warned. We've had the smallest number of sunspots in this cycle since cycle 14, which reached its maximum in February of 1906. With no sunspots actively flaring, the Sun's X-ray output has flatlined, wrote Vancouver Weather. The number of nearly or completely spotless days should increase over the next few years as we continue to move away from the solar maximum phase of cycle 24 and approach the next solar minimum phase and the beginning of solar cycle 25. The current level of activity of solar cycle 24 seems close to that of solar cycle number 5, which occurred beginning in May 1798 and ending in December 1810, added an analysis by What's Up With That. The previous solar cycle 23, peaked in 2000 to 2002 with many furious solar storms. During solar max, huge sunspots and intense solar flares are a daily occurrence. Auroras appear in Florida. Radiation storms knock out satellites. The last such episode took place in the years around 2000 to 2001. During solar minimum, the opposite occurs. Solar flares are almost non-existent while whole weeks go by without a single, tiny sunspot to break the monotony of the blank sun. This is what we are experiencing now. The longest minimum on record, the Maunder minimum of 1645 to 1715, lasted an incredible 70 years. During this period, sunspots were rarely observed and the solar cycle seemed to have broken down completely. The period of quiet coincided with the Little Ice Age, a series of extraordinarily bitter winters in Earth's northern hemisphere. Many researchers are convinced that low solar activity, acting in concert with increased volcanism and possible changes in ocean current patterns, played a role in that 17th century cooling. A study last year claimed to have cracked predicting solar cycles, and says that between 2020 and 2030 solar cycles will cancel each other out. This, they say, will lead to another Maunder minimum, which has previously been known as a mini ice age when it hit between 1646 and 1715. The model of the Sun's solar cycle produced unprecedentedly accurate predictions of irregularities within the Sun's 11-year heartbeat. It draws on dynamo effects in two layers of the Sun, one close to the surface and one deep within its convection zone. Predictions from the model suggest that solar activity will fall by 60% during the 2030s to conditions last seen during the mini ice age that began in 1645, according to the results presented by Professor Valentina Zarkova at the National Astronomy meeting in Llandudno. The model predicts that the pair of waves become increasingly offset during cycle 25, which peaks in 2022. During cycle 26, which covers the decade from 2030 to 2040, the two waves will become exactly out of sync and this will cause a significant reduction in solar activity. In cycle 26, the two waves exactly mirror each other peaking at the same time but in opposite hemispheres of the Sun, said Zarkova. Their interaction will be disruptive, or they will nearly cancel each other. We predict that this will lead to the properties of a Maunder minimum.